I guess nobody, I'm adding nobody tonight, so you got some room. Oh, here's your bank. This is like 50, mostly ones. It's not an easy topic to do anything about. That's the other thing. I mean, it's for us, it's fun to do some stuff that's take something that not everybody else is doing and also take something that's not comfortable and try to make some comedy out of it. That's the fun and the challenge, and that's the reward if you can pull it off.
Would you like to go with us on an adventure? Yeah! Great! Vámonos! Let's go! Today we're going to Abuelita's house. She makes the best chocolate. Chocolate is Spanish for chocolate.
No shit.
I'm Dr. Adrian Villegas, Professor Emeritus of Chicano, Latino, Mestizo, Hispanic, Mexican American, Mojado, Tex-Mex, Tejano, Borracho culture. The show's about, I've been talking about this show since last year. Yeah, here we go. No, come on. The goal for the show, amid all the comedy, was to try to underline the fact that gentrification is something that affects human beings, families.
Is my car going to be okay where I parked it?
It'll be all right. I can see it. Well, you can just go up even like East Riverside, right before you get to Ben White. There's a bunch of, like a whole block of townhouses have been put up there. There's a charter school that's gone up there. If you go by the Dairy Queen, they just put up a whole row of townhouses there. It's unrecognizable. It doesn't look like what like humans live there anymore. It looks like consumers live there, you know? And there's a difference between community and consumerism. You know, there's nothing wrong with progress. There's nothing wrong with improvement of a community. But the problem is you're not improving it for that community. And in fact, you're trying to get rid of that community once you've improved it. So the people who you're trying to say are going to benefit from those improvements never benefit from it. They're usually removed in the middle of that process, which underlines the fact that it's always been possible to make these improvements. It's just a matter of whether you cared enough about improving it for a particular community. You know, you see that that mural that's on the wall outside the Santa Cruz, that indigenous mural, which represents, you know, our indigenous culture, our ancestors, our roots, in a very beautiful tableau. Ever since they put that mural up on that wall, it hasn't been tagged once, which I find that amazing and kind of touching in a way. The audience is just kind of like, the response has been so intense and so consistent and so strong. That's right.
Organizations like the Latino Comedy Project, I think they do very well and try to spread the word. Through humor, something that everybody can relate to, is a great avenue to try to get people to understand what the dilemma is that we have going here.
At Gentrify, our vision for you can be summed up into 2 words. Leave. Now.
It's easy to say, like, well, I'm just looking for affordable housing, or I'm just wanting to be in a great neighborhood, and this is a great neighborhood. It was a great neighborhood before. You know, maybe it didn't have a boutique cupcake shop or a cat cafe, but it was a great neighborhood. The show, I feel like, doesn't pull any punches, and it really I felt like it holds people accountable, and it. For example, one of the things that I loved in the show was, you know, when they started pointing out the signs of gentrification.
Don't get gentrified. Know the warning sign. Warning: when the $1.50 neighborhood palatero disappears and is replaced by a non-GMO fresh fruit popsicle chain. Only $4. You've been gentrified.
My dad was lucky in that he applied for a historical landmark. And so that reduced his property taxes drastically.
I'm the last Hispanic on this one block. And I have people that come back 10, 15, 20 years later, literally crying. I mean, tears in their eyes, wishing that they shouldn't have sold. But the taxes are just eating everybody up.
I would describe Gentrified as a very insightful show about sort of the reality of what's happening in East Austin, but really in communities all over the country.
Where I grew up was at 2103 Stafford Street. I had lived in East Austin since I was a little girl, and I eventually moved about 5 years ago in 2012 to North Austin. And I had no choice because of the property tax. It just kept increasing to the point that I just could not afford to live in my parents' house. And I ended up having to sell.
You know, there's all this press about what a booming comedy community there is, and nobody was doing anything about this topic. If nobody was going to do it, we were going to do it. So we did it.